Stupid problems require stupid solutions, by Uzero Flowcopter Pilot. Remember the Heartbleed bug? That mean vulnerability in the OpenSSL library that made for quite some hectic days in 2014? For our company, that bug came in a very unfortunate moment. The regulatory agency responsible for us had ordered a security audit just then, and passing it was critical. In theory, getting all our devices in order for the audit's vulnerability check should have been a breeze. 90% of our user devices consisted of custom Linux thin clients, with a very streamlined deployment process: get update files, push update to test group, validate it, deploy image files to production. All devices update themselves automatically by the next reboot. This worked great for all machines that were powered off, because when the users came in and switched them on, they updated themselves before login and were current for the audit the same morning. Those that were left running by users at the end of their workday would have just required a remotely triggered reboot. Due to a freak coincidence, however, the current OS build suffered from a previously undiscovered bug that prohibited reliable execution of any remote shutdown command. So we frantically needed to find a solution for this, or we'd have a severe number of vulnerable devices left in the fleet. Brainstorming within our team led to the conclusion that manually finding and rebooting those of the hundreds of thin clients that were left running was too time-consuming and prone for human error. Some machines were also locked behind closed office doors IT had no key for. Then one of us had a brainwave. Hang on, aren't those machines set up with restore on power loss equals last state in the BIOS? You know what IT did have a key for? The main facilities room, which housed the central power breakers for our HQ. Power cycling the whole building did the trick. All previously running thin clients powered back up and fetched the update. By morning, when the auditor came to us, 100% of our fleet was current with the Heartbleed fix and we passed with flying colors. How do they not get it? By user Pajarama. The people I work with are driving me slowly insane. I had to have a very long in-depth discussion with several of my colleagues over some remote engineering. All I was doing was requesting a new SSL certificate from Sectago and using OpenSSL to manipulate it from being a PFX file, into a SAR and key file so it can be uploaded into an Azure-hosted Debian Linux machine which runs the client's phone system. You need to be on site to do this, was the start of it. Pardon. You need to go to site to do the SSL work, as it's for their phone system. What? As you are installing this, you need access to their phone system. You do realize this is a hosted phone system. Okay, so do you need to be scheduled in to go to the branch office nearest you, or the head office in the city? It's hosted in a Microsoft Azure data center. Well, give us the address for the DC then. My head hit my hands so hard I think it broke my desk. Okay, I'm not sure I have the time or the crayons necessary to explain this. I do the SSL creation on my own laptop and using a web portal for Sectago. This can be done from anywhere in the world, no need to be anywhere specific. Installing a certificate is not a physical action, there is no device that needs to be connected for this to happen, it's a transfer of data and a reconfiguration. Nothing hosted in Azure can be physically accessed by the clients. I have full remote access to their Azure infrastructure from my laptop, which I again, can do from anywhere in the world. There is zero requirement for me to go to the client's office to update a backend system which is not even in their offices. It's called remote engineering for a reason, so I do not need to waste 3 hours of my day traveling unnecessarily to do a job I can do from my desk at home. The printer issue wasn't even the printer's fault this time, nor was it user error, by Userus Ghost. Basic mundane tale from yesterday. So, I'm the de facto IT gal for my grandparents' church. They're a rural church and my grandpa works in the administration. They're small, run mostly by old people, and don't have a big IT budget. So, since I'm the one tech-savvy grandchild out of all the families that run the church, my grandpa calls me when they need anything techy done. I don't make a job out of IT work and I'm not religious, but my grandpa pays me and I could always use the extra cash. I'm no pro, I have no training, just determination and good problem-solving skills. That's enough to seem like a pro to him at least. So, this time, it was a printer issue. Printers are the most unholy piece of work in tech as the stories say. But at least fixing one is an actual challenge, so compared to the more common issues that are usually easy fixes that old people without tech literacy can't figure out, this was a breath of fresh air because it likely wouldn't be their fault and I wouldn't have to hold back rolling my eyes out of politeness cause the printer has no conscience to care about it. So, printer, the big unit office style one, beeps and asks you to put envelope paper in the multipurpose tray with every print job. You have to walk down the hall to press a regular tray full of letter size paper with every print job. And a lot of printing is done cause they prefer paper record keeping. I go into paper settings on the printer. I change everything I can to try to print from the right bin. Fail every time. I check all the print settings when going to print, everything is set to letter size paper. I go back and forth with printer settings cause it looks like it should be a printer issue, but none of the many available settings fix the issue. So, my grandpa takes out his MacBook and tries to print. It prints fine. So, boom, narrowed it down to a computer issue with the Windows 11 laptop. I am used to Windows 10 and don't use 11, so it took a few minutes to find the ridiculously hidden print settings. The ones from the settings menu formerly handled from control panel. And 4 menus deep, where no one using the computer would ever think to look, there it was. The default paper size was set to envelope. I set it to auto. Boom, printing with letter paper selected works again. I have absolutely no clue how it changed. So I went to the other Windows 11 computer, turned it on and tested it out. Same issue. Its settings were also changed to envelope in that deep hidden dialog box. I wrote a how to fix guide for them in case there are other 11 PCs I didn't get to. But I still have absolutely no clue how it happened, and I am going to blame Windows 11 updates and perhaps the fact that even being in a church cannot exorcise the demons plaguing that OS. Well, at least the printer has turned to Jesus this time. I heard you like labeling laptops, by user TurboJelly. Summer's here, which for us school IT techs means project time. Currently, I'm upgrading a couple of hundred PCs to Win11. Let me regale you with a brief story in frustration. Last year I had the pleasure of building 180 Chrome ebooks. Quite simple. Remove Chrome ebook from box, add inventory sticker, name Chrome ebook based off security number, build and pack laptop back in box, after writing the name on the box. 180 times get a bit repetitive. Now, 60 of these Chrome ebooks went to student services. They were received warmly and promised they would keep better track than they did last year. A couple of days later, I was chatting with them, and they complained about the pain of opening all the boxes, labeling the Chrome ebooks and boxes and putting them back. Yes, they were adding their 9WN labels to the CHR9 MEB9 OKs to track them despite there already being labels on them, which were DIR3CTLY related to their names. This also meant that they planned to send us a list of their own, made up, NAM3S for the Chrome ebooks that had zero relation to what the Chrome ebooks were actually named, making their efforts completely pointless from an administrative point of view. I had a sinking feeling and decided to check a box. They did not put the Chrome ebooks back in the correct boxes. Anyone surprised? I explained their mistake as friendly as I could, but by then, the term had started so they didn't have time to fix it. So Gubbins here had to go through those 60 boxes and fix their mistakes. DR fun was not had. Mysterious errored print job, by user Gumbiosun. Recent issue at a customer. A Konica Minolta printer keeps receiving an errored job over and over which blocks the queue for other jobs. Printer in question does not provide IP address for source of the job but does state the staff name which is not someone who works from that office. Clearing the spooler on all local devices and rebooting the printer doesn't stop the issue. Unable to get packet capture from any network devices. On a whim, check the firewall and see port 9100 requests from a remote S2S connected PC. Cleared the spooler on that PC, job keeps coming. Restarted VPN, job keeps coming. Create a firewall rule to block the port and IP and job keeps coming. Can't reboot the firewall at production hours. End up loading into the advanced shell of the firewall, recentish patch level Sophos XG, and killing all current connections using Contract F. Turns out the S2S is very recent and connected from a crappy TP-Link and the remote PC had a bunch of print jobs sent to the wrong printer cause the queues are deployed to all devices. During the build of the VPN, the job got sent and the Sophos kept replaying the packet over and over for a week. Killing the connections killed the bad packet. Printer now working again.